So I'm Alessio Lupi, I'm project manager for SVEM, Sviluppo Europa Marche, that is the in-house consulting agency of the Marche Regional Authority in Italy. And we are partner of the Blue Crowdfunding project.
So, do you think crowdfunding is an interesting financing tool in the Mediterranean context, and why?
I definitely think crowdfunding is an interesting and rather innovative, at least for our regional territory, financial tool, as you are saying. It's interesting because it has different schemes, basically, that would allow you to do different things, from getting donations to also catalyze the money that citizens have available to direct them towards innovative investments, for instance, for the regional territory. So it has absolutely a lot of opportunities in relation to the tool. The main challenge would be actually to discover ourselves all the possibilities that this crowdfunding has, and to communicate those effectively to the citizens in order to involve them to the scheme. Because, of course, as you perfectly know, crowdfunding is a tool that works only if the participation is ensured, basically.
And do you think in the Mediterranean context it has specific challenges, maybe?
Well, I see a couple of challenges here. The first challenge is about culture, because, as you know, we don't have as many experience of successful crowdfunding campaign as they have probably in the northern part of Europe, or at least we don't have such a long history of attempts or campaigns being implemented. So this is the first challenge, which is a key challenge, basically, that affects also the political sides, talking about fund matching. It's really difficult to have the policymaker involved at the early stage of development of any campaign, because you don't know the results. Basically, you don't have an overall glance of the percentage of success that you have, basically. So that for policymakers it's difficult to invest in something you don't know very well, basically. The second challenge, and on the reverse side, opportunity related with crowdfunding applied to Southern Europe, is about lack of money in general in the financial, on the traditional financial circuits. So the banks are not, probably not well, not rich as they are in the northern part of Europe. So the financial availability of the financial institution is not so ensured. And so in this sense, this is a challenge, but at the same time is a great opportunity, because crowdfunding can step in where the more traditional financial instruments cannot deal with the request of people. Also because I think in general, if I think about my region, there are a lot of opportunities of development in relation with innovation, but not enough investment availability from citizens. And also the bureaucracy that is behind the traditional financial circuits do not foster the investment of private citizens. So in this sense, crowdfunding can be the solution in order to foster investments from the citizens.
Great. And speaking of match funding and sustainable development, what would you say that are the opportunities in the Mediterranean region?
Well, I mean, the Mediterranean regions, as all the other European regions, they have available funds, for instance, from the European institutions, structural funds, so funds that are directed to the regions every year. And so they have the financial availability to somehow co-fund potential crowdfunding campaigns. So there is the financial potentiality. Now the challenge is, as I was saying before, the willingness from policymakers to actually test such an innovative tool in relation to whom you don't know what will be the actual response of citizens, because those initiatives are still rather innovative. So that's the main opportunity / challenge that I see. So the solution would be, as the Blue Crowdfunding project allowed us, to test and pilot campaign on the territory around issues that are absolutely acknowledged by the citizens as such, in order to have some good examples from which to build further experience by making use also more complicated crowdfunding schemes, also embedding some public investments in that, as we did in Marche regions, for instance. We implemented a campaign on a donations-based scheme. The citizens responded well, and now we can try to develop a further step involving some more complex scheme, even involving the investment from the public authority. The regional authority is making use of public funds, basically.
And in this sense, how do you think a public authority can benefit from a match funding program?
Well, in several ways. I can just name two ways that come to my mind at once. The first would be, of course, by having further financial resources coming from citizens. That will be, if you have 100, you might duplicate these financial allowances, and so generate a double impact, multiplying the impact that the resources that you have might lead to. That would be the first. The second opportunity would be on setting the agenda of political interventions. You can ask the citizens, or you can gather the answer from citizens through their donations, in order to identify what are the priorities of intervention that the citizens feel they are more needed in their own territory. So it's absolutely an opportunity to foster participatory budget activities, I would say, or initiatives. That would be.
And finally, can you share with us something interesting that you have learned today in the MatchMed event?
Yeah, definitely. For instance, I think that, as you showed, experience in which you make use of crowdfunding in order to foster citizens' participation in advocacy campaigns, for instance, and also the use of crowdfunding in relation to research activities around topic of civic interest, as for instance the fires, and so to investigate the cause of this phenomena that affect local or regional territories. It's something absolutely powerful, absolutely effective. And I think it's very, very, very interesting. The challenge here is, once again, how to effectively communicate this kind of activity to citizens, in particular in regions in which there are not so many experiences in relation to this kind of activities. So Barcelona, is already a city in which there is some culture of citizen participation, while in my region, in the region I live in, this is still, we are still making the first steps. So this is the most challenging, probably, part of the process, to initiate the process. So this is why I'm particularly interested in the early phase of the activity that, for instance, Goteo is implementing, in order to learn how to inaugurate or duplicate such a process in our own territory.